apalagi penjualnya atau penyedia tahu kalau nggak bisa begitu udah jualan duit ya kan, nah itu
kerjasama kalau lupa Bu, Mbak Emar yang lagi anu sama Mbak Emar aja. Sama Mbak Nia apa ya? Enggak, aku nggak terakhir. Dulu aku yang pertama.
Assalamualaikum Bu Dia. Bu, yang tulisan Hangul siapa ya Bu?
Daput, misalnya kamu bisa baca Hangul ya?
Ya maksudnya itu orang Korea beneran apa ya bukan?
Coba di-admit aja mungkin ya, Put.
Iya coba ya Bu.
Most businesses rely on titles, whether bring new products,
Selamat pagi Pak Dekan, Bu Dia.
Selamat pagi, Mbak. Good morning. Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Professor Park, can you hear me? Can you hear my voice? I'm sorry, you're still muted.
Now I'm okay. Ya, selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
Pagi. I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Thank you for joining this webinar, Prof. Park.
Thank you. I'm honored to join the webinar with the students and the law faculty. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome. Mulai jam berapa, Mbak Ayu?
Sekarang saja nggak Bu Dia?
Ini udah
190 dan masih bertambah.
Halo. Halo.
Okay. Hello, Mrs. Prof. Pak. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Professor Park, can you hear me?
Sure, I do. I do hear very
Let me introduce about team and Faculty of Law, and then this Master Dr. Sudiana is the Dean of Faculty of Law. Pak Sudiana mungkin
Thank you.
bisa menyapa Pak Sudiana. Is the Dean.
Hello, Miss
And
Prof. Pak.
Thank you.
And then I'm Vice Dean for Academic and Student Affairs.
Nice to meet you, Vice Dean.
Nice to meet you too, Miss. And Master Sunario mana? Belum masuk. Pak Sunario belum masuk ya?
Pak Sunaria belum hadir, Bu.
Belum. Kita mulai jam sebentar lagi, Mbak, atau sekarang aja mungkin, ya?
Oh iya, boleh Bu.
Can we start now? Professor Park?
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Thank you for your waiting.
Yeah. So I do start my presentation now. Can I?
Maybe
Yes.
it's opening ceremony first. Maybe first opening ceremony with the dean speech. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Before you
Professor
share
Park,
your
allow me to guide you into this seminar. I'm here acting as your moderator and your guide today.
Okay, nice.
Okay, let me greet. Okay. Selamat pagi, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua.
Waalaikumsalam.
Perkenalkan, saya Murti Ayu Hapsari yang akan bertindak selaku pembawa acara sekaligus sebagai moderator untuk acara pada pagi hari ini. First, I would like to greet our honorable speaker for today, Professor Ji Hyun Park. Good morning, or maybe good afternoon here.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, okay. I am Ayu, and I am so honored to be able to guide you as the moderator and for seminar in this occasion. Kemudian yang saya hormati Pak Dr. Sudiana selaku dekan, yang saya hormati Ibu Diah Permata Budiasti selaku wakil dekan 1, yang saya hormati Bapak Sunaryara Raharja selaku wakil dekan 2, kemudian yang saya hormati pula seluruh Bapak Ibu dosen Fakultas Hukum Universitas Danau Badra dan seluruh mahasiswa yang saya banggakan. Puji dan puji syukur tidak lupa saya panjatkan pada Allah atas berkat dan rahmat hidayahnya kita bisa berkumpul dalam ruang maya ini untuk berpartisipasi dalam webinar nasional bersama visiting professor dalam tajuk perlindungan data pribadi or data protection to individual that will be presented by our honorable Professor Ji Hyun Park. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Professor Ji Hyun Park from University of Yongsan, Korea. Let me introduce you our professor first. She's a professor of international law at the Faculty of Law from Yongsan University, Busan, Korea. And she's a licensed attorney in New York and work in California. Jadi beliau juga bertindak sebagai advokat di New York dan di New York dan California, USA. Kemudian beliau juga bertindak sebagai Director of Global Center, Director of Korean Language Center, and then she is also a Director of King Sejong Institute in Bandung, Indonesia. And then she also participate in Advisory International Editorial Board in several journal. Jadi beliau juga reviewer atau sebagai advisor dari jurnal-jurnal terkait hukum di Indonesia. Kemudian beliau juga sebagai editorial board dari International Review published in ICRC International Organization. Jadi beliau juga sebagai editorial board dari jurnal ICRC. Kemudian beliau mendapatkan gelarnya yang LLD dari Yonsei University of Korea, and then she got her LLM for University of Pennsylvania, USA. Okay. Now allow me to welcome our honorable speaker, Professor Ji Hyun Park, to present the lecture. Professor Ji Hyun Park, the time is yours.
Selamat pagi. Thank you.
Sambutan Pak Dekan dulu. Sambutan Pak Dekan dulu, Mbak Ayu.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Prof. Ji Hyun. I'm going to ask our dean to open our lecture for today.
Sure.
Monggo kepada Pak Dekan untuk membuka acara pada pagi hari ini. Bapak Dr. Sudiana.
Okay, thank you.
Monggo Pak Sudiana, mohon maaf tadi saya nervous Bapak.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and good luck to all of us. Dear Prof. Park Ji-hyun, PhD from Faculty of Law, Yongsan University, Korea. How we respect one counselor and vice counselor, deputy deans, Chair and Secretary of the Master of Law Study Program, Mr. and Mrs. Lecturer, as well as all students of the Law Faculty of Law, University of Janabadra. First of all, let us praise the presence of Allah SWT, Almighty God, for the abundance of His grace, favors, and guidance. We can meet online in good health without lacking anything. On behalf of the Faculty of Law, Janabadra University, we extend our respect and gratitude to Prof. Park Ji-hyun, PhD, from Faculty of Law, Yongsan and University Korea, was pleased to attend to provide material and intellectual property law in visiting professor event. We also do not forget to convey our respect and gratitude to the lecturer and our students who have been willing to take their time to attend this visiting professor event. In addition, we also apologize profusely if in the implementation of this activity there are mistakes and mystics. Ladies and gentlemen, I respect. More or less since the last 5 years, the work of higher education in particular is recruited to always improve the quality of its graduate so that they can compete in the world of work and job creation. Every effort has been made by stakeholders at each university to meet the national standard of higher education, including at the University of Janabadra. One of the national standards of higher education is the learning standards. The visiting professor activity at the Faculty of Law is held for 3 days, start from Tuesday 7 on Tuesday 9 September 2021. First, as a form of learning in higher education, as referred to in Article 45, paragraph 5 of the regulation of the Minister of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia, number 3 of 220, concerning national standard for higher education. The second is to implement of Memorandum of Understanding between the Faculty of Law, Janabadra University, and the Faculty of Law of Yongsan University, Korea, which was signed in mid-August 2021. Third is part of series of activity of the Merdeka Campus of the Independent Campus Competition Program at the Faculty of Law, University of Janabadra. And fourth, if possible, as part of the preparation for international accreditation. Ladies and gentlemen, I respect. That is the purpose and objective of this visiting professor activity. And we, Faculty of Law, University of Janabadra, hope this activity can be useful for the academic community at the Faculty of Law, University of Janabatra. So what I can say is more or less apologize profusely. By using Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare that this visiting professor is open. So, and thanks. Wassalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Waktu saya kembalikan kepada moderator. Thank you, Mrs. Park.
Ya, baik Pak Sudiana, thank you for the speech. And we are going to go to the lecture, straight to the lecture from Professor Park Ji-hyun. Prof. Park Ji-hyun, I guess you're ready to present your lecture now. I'm sorry, your mic is still...
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to share the file. And is it okay if you give me the authority, then I can share the file? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm on. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, nice to meet you all. I'm really grateful that everyone here had decided to join the webinar of University Janabatra, right? Correct. Janabatra. I've been in Jogja many times, and particularly like the Jogja market. I hope to visit the Janabatra University next time when I visit the Jogja.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
hopefully. Yeah, sure. Okay. So now, for the students, there are so many students who participated in this webinar. This university, I think, put so many effort for the students. I can feel that. So students loved by the university will have a great role in the society in the future, I'm sure. So today, the topic I'd like to share with you is about the future. And now we are heading to the new generation. And there is a great topic that we have to concern in terms of legal strategy and also the legal frame. So before go that, I'm just going to share the bit of the video of the university. It's just short video. I hope you can enjoy it. It's like a arithmetic one too. I hope you enjoy it. I just watching it in a small portion. Do you like the music? I hope students like the music.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. Very, very good.
It's short.
Yes.
Thank you. Without knowing each other, I thought it would be a little bit awkward to talk about the topics. So this is my university having many students enjoying their jobs later on. Okay. For this topic, the topic title is data protection to individuals. Since the poster said intellectual property, so many of the students here are really interested in intellectual property, I think. For the beginning, I like to share the information about data protection. Maybe tomorrow or either the third day, I have written a book about the Indonesian case. It's an Indonesian case 30, and it had published in Korea and has a disputed already in the market now. And I sent it to the UII University. My friends professors are in UI a lot. So I sent my copies of the books there. Next time, through the data or the dean of the Untak University, I assume that you know the dean very well. I will dispatch my book to your university for information. It is written in English. Okay, so likewise, I said we have passed the generations of agriculture society to industry society to information society, now at the point of intelligence information society. We are doing the Zoom meeting webinar. It is also the role of the computer that had made possible us to meet through the board, without the board, actually. Okay, so this is a system we are using it now. Avatar, you know very well, and the book, Bitcoin is popular, and people cannot sleep because of the investment to the Bitcoin. Is anybody investing in a Bitcoin? No? There are many people in Korea now investing in the Bitcoin. We are trying to control the market of the Bitcoin because in the future, we don't like to be governed by the government itself for transferring of the money.
Yeah.
So that's why we need Bitcoin for us to have independence in the financial arena. But we are going to cooperate with the government too. So for the COVID and information, I like to talk about the collection. This is a very question that I have it here. Question 1, collection of the personal information during COVID-19 was a very big concern here in Korea. How about in Indonesia? If you go restaurant, there are people ask you your address, your phone number, and your time frame. They do ask you.
Yeah, in Indonesia, it's a bit concerned because the security is not good. So in the last 2 years, I heard some maybe twice there is a data leak in the internet. They stole the data to the internet.
Right. So that's the same concern that Korea has it. So collection of personal information during COVID-19, is it possible for government to control it very well? Now, there are several ways of collecting the personal information. So here, there is a barcode, QR code. You make a order, and they know what you want right away, and they get your information through the QR code right away, right? And there is another way of collecting is by paper. This is a paper I got when I went to the musical cat during the COVID-19. Even in the COVID-19, there are many musical and also art playing around because they cannot stop 100%. So when it happens, they ask you basically, what's your do you have a fever, or do you have any symptom of coughing or the ache in your body, and have you had any isolation before, and have you visited a foreign country within 14 days prior to this visit. So that's the basically question they are collecting. And if you answer it, then they will allow us to enter the gate of the musical cat. That's why this is an exchange between me and government. I give my information. They allow me to go into the cat's musical. So it's a deal between us, right? And going back to the official information and the collection of information, Korea had decided to give out official information because without the official information, there will be rumors. There will be many rumors. So at the point of breakout of the COVID, government just opened a new web page and they just distribute this website asking, this is official information. You can get all the information about the COVID-19 here. Do not get strange information from YouTube or anywhere else. So they have this official information, and 2 times every day, they have an official announcement about the number of persons infected and where it had happened and what is the states the government is enforcing it. And after they clean and they have something done, and they also announce it. So this is the official site. So rumors can be small. Okay. And this is official statistics. And basically, we somehow trust the government information. And confirmed case released from the isolated, deceased. These are the numbers, and or by in Korean, also in English. If you look at the side on the right part, this is a cumulative number of confirmed case in around the USA, including USA and India and other places at the point. So we know what's at the stake in Korea and what has to be done. And people can expect what will be done and how am I going to react to the government policy. So we are basically this is for not to prevent overreacting it. If you overreacting it, and there are so many citizens overreacting to this pandemic, then the society will be collapsed. So official side make us to stay calm. But at the same time, personal information collection is still very big concern. And when I had a webinar also with another country, even in Brazil, they ask, well, do you concern about having my information? And supposedly, government supposedly delete and erase information every 4 weeks. And we believe they delete the information every 4 weeks. And this process will be also supervised by the government. And if they use it wrong, then next time they will not get any benefit for having governmental work. So they will be start working for the government. That is why they have to cooperate to the government requirements. Okay, and now this is investigation system. Even how they investigate the information, it is open. So if there is confirmed case, they request information on the confirmed case, basically gain approval for the provision of information on the confirmed case. So they get the information through this process. For this, government had remanded the law first. So as soon as COVID-19 break out, the first thing they did, change the law. Why do they have to change the law? Is without the proper law, they cannot track down the information. They cannot ask people, citizens, to stay away. So for them to ask citizens to do something, first thing they have done is changing the law. So they remanded the law to make this all investigation possible. Okay, so now collect information on the confirmed case and then review it, track movement, and now next thing here is once there is an infected person, then government give you the notice of isolation. So this is the details of isolation paper, name, and reason for isolation, and something like you could be directly infected. Secondly, the reason of isolation is you are not infected yet, but you had a close contact to the person, then you have to be in quarantine. So there are two reasons that you stay in quarantine, and they specifically notify it. Otherwise, people just assume that you got infected, then friends will be staying away from you. So that's why they make it clear that you are not infected, you are isolated because of the close contact to the person. Our university also had 2 students infected, but they are not infected inside the university. They are outside and they got infected. And right after that information came, what happened was that we had all the close contact tracking down, and we found out that student had met a person. Right after the A person, we also contacted all the people around the A person. And then right away, we noticed they had a soccer game at some place, soccer field. So we had collected also in that information at the soccer field. That became the 120% tracking down. So starting from 2%, we had to track down 120% at that time. Now, since there was a person in a language course, they had infected, 2 students got infected because of the cross contact, then we have to check all the students in a language course. There was more than 100. So we had tested all of them in front of the university. Only 2 of them in the close contact got infected, and others are all okay because they had wear the mask very well. None of them were infected, even they had classes in the university. So that was a good news. After that, we had assumed that there is another student might be infected. So we all checked the student in a dormitory. All the students in the dormitory got checked. None of them got infected. So all the students stayed together, even in the dormitory, were okay. But during the track down, they were very cooperative because of this clear information that the government will not use the information in the wrong way. And also, we clearly assume that if there is a leak of the information, they have to pay back. The government has to pay back. So that is how they got the cooperation of all the foreign students, also in Korean students. Okay, so they tracked down 4 things. First, telecommunication company tracked down where did you call? Where did you make a call? And secondly, where did you use your credit card? So telecommunication and credit card, and then going to the Ministry of Justice and travel record, medical record, if there's a person with a disease before, then they do like to care special, they like to put the person in a special care. So these are the information. So health insurance, telecommunication, credit card, and travel records are for information they are using for track down. Okay, so you know where your information is going to be used. Okay, and here is the law that we have changed it. So Infectious Disease Control and Prevention Act, see here, usually inserted by Act number 17067, March 4, 2020. Right after breakout of the COVID, they all changed the law by inserting new clause no provisions. That means that where any information disclosed under paragraph 1 falls under any of the following sub-paragraph, the relevant person may file an objection with the Minister of Health and Welfare in writing. So person don't like the information given to the person, that the person don't have to enter that premises initially, but even though the person likes to enter it, doesn't like to give information, then the person can file an objection of giving the information also. So these are all possible through the law. So this is a typical site that you go to the bakery or any of the, this is a movie theater, and you do scan it, and then you type it and you can enter. And this is a clock, also the gloves, one-time gloves, and then also the sanitizer, you use it just in case the ballpoint pen used by someone else is not clean, you think, then you can also wipe it out and use it. Here, COVID-19 and personal information in Korea is here, Article 58. It says, for the purpose of public safety, such as public health, in case of emergency, temporary process of personal information is allowed. So this is how they get information. At border body temperature check, question by paper, application download, second paper check, self-quarantine safety. This is a procedure when people enter Korea. Unfortunately, the Indonesia student cannot enter Korea for time being. It was all of a sudden at the it was the end of the July. Embassy stopped processing the visa, but there are students entered before. So those students who enter here, they said this process has been done. Okay, and also the dedicated taxi will come to the place directly, so you don't have to worry about contacting the person also, right? Okay. Now, the information method has changed a bit. You don't have to write it down. Now you call. There is a 181 number. 181, depending on the, so the government had set all 181 number to the business license the place. And every time you go there, you just call the number. They get the information that someone entered, and your number has been recorded. Here it says for 4 weeks, it is going to be deleted right away. And there is a person, it says, there are two things here. Are you familiar with the data controller and data processor? I hope you do familiarize yourself to this information. Data controller is the person controlling the data, but there are something like a government, right? Government is controlling the information, but government cannot collect all the information themselves. So there is a agent like the person that is called the data processor. Here, data processor is a health center, epidemic prevention division, or even the stores, they can be the processor. And what they get is telephone number and visit hour. Those two information they collect and they will process it 4 weeks. And then this will be deleted afterwards, okay? And here the controller is a local government. Here in this case is Geumjeonggu, where I live, okay? And this kind of law has come from EU. I'm sure you are familiar with the concept of collecting the information. Europe and the US has a different idea. Let me ask you, since I've talked a lot, how many how many companies in the US you know it's a big company collecting data? They don't say they're collecting data. What's the company you know that is from US? You are using Amazon?
Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook. Also, you are searching something Indonesian students usually use, starting with a G.
Starting with a Z. What is it?
Google.
Oh, G. Google. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Google, Facebook, Amazon, those are the companies that America, USA has. Do you recognize any of the companies, big companies in Europe that we are using? We are not using any of the companies in Europe. So the interest is really different. Basically, we have about 3,000 AI companies. Later, we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. But those companies are half in the US, half in the China. That's why the China and the US is fighting over, because they need the data. And US is trying to block the data that the China is getting. That is why they are having trade war. But, EU is thinking, we don't have any company that can collect the information or data. What do we have to do? Now, we have to protect our citizens, protect data. So that is idea that EU has it. USA, China has a company collecting the data. So they can have all the information about people around the world. But EU has no power over collecting the data. Maybe Indonesia has a power too. You do use Gojek, right? Yeah, you do use Gojek. To use Gojek, you do file the information about you. And the reason many of the companies are heading into the sharing car company is to do what? They like to run the business in a car section? No. The reason that the company want to have a sharing car company or sharing auto bike company It's to get the information about the personal transit, where you have started, where you going. That's the information they want, right? So this is the information power that the states are fighting over. And then EU started this GDPR. I hope you do familiarize yourself to the GDPR. I'm sure there are many people who already know this GDPR because it had started 1918. I also, at the time, 1918, I went to the Bandung, and I also made the clear statement that the Bandung and also the Indonesia has to be ready for the data protection. And at that time, there were no law in Indonesia protecting the data. Now Indonesia is has made the law, I know, and then it's certainly at the parliament. They're not passing it yet, but Indonesia has enacted the law to pass it, right? Very similar to GDPR. Okay, so the time frame at that time was 1980. Now it's 2-3 years past, means that the law has adopted and practiced in the real field. GDPR has 99 articles and 173 recitals. There are general provisions, principle, right of data subject, and these are the information mainly to protect citizens' information. So to summarize it, these are the main articles you have to know. See here, territorial scope is this: any of the company who like to collect information about EU citizen, then that state has to have similar law to GDPR. That is called the equality test. If the law is not equal enough, EU is not going to allow something like, for example, Korean company cannot collect information about EU citizen. This is basically the blocking the information gathering by the company outside. So in Article 3, it says any of the company who like to collect information about the EU citizen, then your state must have a GDPR similar law, right? And second important thing is Article 7 requires explicit consent. Without explicit consent, usually, when you use iPhone, you buy application, right? When you buy application, you click explicitly, clearly, I consent to this application, right? Otherwise, you cannot use that app. That is explicit consent, and this EU is GDPR in Article 7 that require explicit consent. And Article 17, it says right of access. That means that I consented to use the iPhone application. I like some kind of playing app, and I do like to play cookie run game, and I consented. And in a year, I played very well. But later, I don't play anymore. And I wonder how they use the information about me. And then I can use Article 15, right to access. Here, information on the controller and store the personal data must be provided. If I ask, what do you have about me? You can ask directly to Google. You can write to Google now and say, do you have any information about me and they have to provide it. You will get the information about you when you have logged in, what you have watched, and what you have deleted, what you have downloaded, and when you lit. So this is a right of access. That means the citizen has the right to ask what kind of information government or the company is using. So this is a very important. And also Article 17 is very important, right to erasure. You can ask after you check all the information, and now you see, oh, there's information I like to hide. Do you have any information you don't want to talk to someone else, but you only want to know yourself? I do have. So those information you can use your right to erasure. You can ask Google to delete it. I'm going to ask you later questions about what to do in this case. This is related to the right to erasure. So these are the information and the articles, quite thick source of information you need to study. But here I come. So this is a summary to remember. First, if you process the personal data at EU citizen or resident, or you offer goods services to such people, then GDPR applies to you even if you are not in the US. So Indonesian company like to sell Indomie to EU citizen, then you are selling it to the EU citizen by online, and they buy it through the online Amazon, then you're collecting the information of a EU citizen. The Indomie company has to comply with that status of GDPR. Otherwise, Indomie cannot sell the ramen to EU citizen, right? That's the GDPR. Okay, second, the fine for the violation is very high. So we are a bit released. The government is collecting a lot of penalty money from the company if they ignore this law. So we kind of assure that because the penalty is high, they will keep it. You know, there are so many laws in Korea. The penalty is too low. Company does not keep it. They don't have to keep it because they can just pay the penalty. It's the same case in many countries, right? So penalty has to be high for them to ask the company to keep the law. Okay. Now, collecting personal data is called the profiling. So profiling is a very sensitive to us all, and it is based on the European Convention on Human Rights. Okay, these are the ones, but we'll just pass a little bit and let me ask you the question first. Okay, this is a question. Okay, I'm asking a question, you have to answer. Okay, do you think your test answer and comments made by the reviewer are personal information or not? Okay, I'll give you a second to think. Do you think your test answer, you do take a middle exam and also final exam, right? But you also take a bar exam later on. If you take a bar exam and then you didn't pass, but you want to know why you didn't pass, as the government has to return your paper test answer, yes or no?
I
No.
think test answer in Indonesia, the test answer is labeled as confidential. So I
right?
think it's a personal information based from that label.
It is a personal information, at the same time confidential, only controlled by the government, you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But here in this case, in Europe, they said, oh, this guy really, the story is at the last part of it. He took a test given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants. So he tried to become accountant of Ireland. And CAI consisting of first and 3 subjects and second accountant test and 1 open book test. So he passed first and second all the time. However, he missed the open book test 4 times. So he didn't pass the accountant test. Really frustrated. Here in Korea, there's a regulation that anybody who graduated law school can take a bar exam, but only 5 times. If you pass, if you cannot pass the test in 5 times, forever, you are not allowed to take a bar exam ever again. So only 5 times you have chance. This is 2. So he missed 4 times. He appealed the result. He said, something is strange. I have studied so much and I only fail at the open book test. This is how he spoke at the time. So I'm mimicking. Okay. So the issue became the written answer test material, the paper by the candidate in the professional examination. Examiners' comments with respect to those answers extend to the data subject right to access and rectification under EU 1995 Personal Information Directives. So he asked, because I have a right to access, can I have my paper to see what comments has been made? And the judgment of the court in 2017 said, okay, this is your personal information. Because it is your personal information, you can ask and you have access to it. So confidentiality belongs to government. Now in the EU, personal information right access become higher than the protection of the information by the government, right? So it is a little bit of balance. The answer by the IU is correct. The Indonesian government will not give you your paper, I'm sure. Korean government is not giving paper back either. But in the EU, they are giving it back because EU has the law. Indonesia has not passed the law. It does not have a law yet. So Indonesia is not releasing the paper yet. But Korea is not releasing the paper yet because nobody asked. Korea has passed the law, but nobody asked. But in EU, there is a law and someone asked law to apply. And so the person got the answer sheet and now he knows what has been the problem of his failure. And I hope in the 5th time he passed. Okay, so conclusion here at that case is written answer submitted by the candidate in the professional examination and examiner's comments with respect to those answers are personal information and it is included. Any comments made by the examiner with respect to those answers constitute personal data within the meaning of that provision. So reasoning is that the use of expression any information in the definition of a concept of personal data within the Article 2A of the Directive 95-46 reflects That means any information. They use the wording any information. So they meant to include later lawsuit. What kind of information can be information? They don't know. So later on, it will be much larger sense of information that people will concern. That is why people said, okay, here in the quote said any information. Then this answer sheet by professional commentator should be given to the person who wrote it. So this is a case at the time 2017 in EU. Okay, now okay, so now this is a passport, right? Many of you has it, right? Departure. I haven't used this for the last 2 years. I couldn't go anywhere except the Jeju Island in Korea. I don't have access to the flight. I'm sure you don't have access to the flight either, right? Question number 3. So it goes to the information in the immigration. Do you think information you have given to the immigration officer and process information is personal information? So I have a 6 question, 3 more coming. Any of you, IU has been answering too much, and she's been really sincere to answer the question. Any of the students would like to answer the question? You go Singapore, right? From Batam to Singapore, you do take a ferry, and you give information to the immigration officer, and you just give a passport to the person. The person takes it. Okay, you're allowed to in, right? You go to Singapore, and also you go to the Malaysia, Australia, nearby neighbors, and they collect the information. And then later on, you want to stay in, for example, United States, and you gave all the information to permanently stay in the US. But they didn't allow you to stay. So I got rejected. And do I have a right to ask them and have my paper back? They said, no, immigration has a really, really big power. I'm not going to give it to you. Yeah, isn't this the similar story in every country? Okay, so here, name, date of birth, nationality, sex, religion, language is personal information. Very basic. Name, date of birth, nationality, sex, religion, and language. Indonesia allows about 5 religion, right? Even the religion is written at your social security card, right? So this is very personal. If you lose your social security card, you are losing your identity, right? So this is very important. However, legal analysis, considering all the factors surrounding one person to process during immigration procedure, is not personal information. So I also do work with the immigration officer in Korea because we have to protect our students, and sometimes students provide wrong information. Sometimes, unfortunately, there is a case they're providing fake TOEFL score. Then we get a question: is it the correct one or not? Then we check. Actually, we do have a very big magnet glasses, and we see whether they made it. They changed the score or not. We can see whether they have changed it or not. So this process happens behind the door. So this is surrounding factors of immigration procedure. So how I know you have submitted wrong information and why do I make decision over rejection, or why do they make a rejection to my arrival and to my permanent residence? It's not personal information. So they will not going to share me that information. That means that you have to notice, you have to collect information at any place, any other place. Okay. Okay. Another question. This is a check-in system. When you go work, there is a system, right? There is a system, and when you arrive, you check, I arrived. And then you go home, you check, I go home. So this is a enter and out work checking system. I got it from Coupang in Korea. This is a officially selling machine. It's not that I made, okay? And this is a K media, and this you can collect your face and thumbnail and also the time frame. And question goes, do you think daily working hour report is a personal information? Even universities has information collection about your working hour, right? Sometimes they do want to know when you arrive, when you are leaving, right? So this is the daily working hour report. Do you think it's a personal information? You can ask the university provide you. What kind of information do you have about my arrival time? Can you ask? Can you ask? Yeah. This is it could be very sensitive. Any of you like to make a comment on this?
Ya silakan yang ada yang mau menanggapi, apakah mesin presensi yang digunakan untuk absen di kantor-kantor itu termasuk personal informasi atau informasi pribadi atau bukan? Mungkin ada yang mau menanggapi?
No?
No? Oh,
okay.
I guess,
oh yeah.
Wait a second. There is someone raised his hand. Winarno? Do you want to? Nope.
No, okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me. There are two students who like to.
Oh yeah, there are some student. Oh, okay, maybe Winarno first. You can open your mic. Can you open your mic? Sudah
Okay.
saya buka.
Touch the wrong button. Okay, so
hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Professor Park Ji-hyun, PhD. 안녕하세요. And thank you for moderator, Miss Devi, for letting me ask question and have a comment on this event. Professor Park, I would like to have a comment on this section. Based on the fact that happens in my office where I work, we have like kind of similarity system that staff can do the fingerprint as their presence. And normally we are using a very simple ideas using the fingerprint. It's only like names, and also we register them by the fingerprints, not more than that. So like in this simple way, just to get the attendance.
Right.
Yeah, there's so the fact that we are using a very simple system, I don't think that was like IDs can be ID leaking data because it's very, very small data and very limited access. That's my comment. And Miss Devi, can I ask question to Professor Partition? There's a question, like one question. Or just a comment.
Oh, yeah, it's up to the moderator.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's okay, one more question, Professor.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to have. Yeah.
Okay, go on, Winarno.
Yeah, I would like to ask about the IDs data that happens around the world. Yeah, so there's a risk that it's going to be leaked by strangers. And just one question that I would like to ask to the fact that in Indonesia we have already like information that the data's citizen in Indonesia is already leaked. But I don't know, is that real or no, but the information is already running around in social media and also websites. And I just wondering, is there any leaked data IDs in Korea these days, like due to the during the pandemic, I mean, or only in Indonesia that happens?
No.
That's my question. Thank you. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Yeah, I thank a lot. Because I was talking alone, I was lonely. Thank you for asking question. Moderator is very nice for noticing the person who had a deeper interest. Okay.
Yes, she does. Thank you.
Yeah, she does. For the leak of information, Korea is having very difficult time because even the prosecutors get a call. We openly call the spam call or spam mail, spamming. And even the lawyers, judge, prosecutor, I think even the president gets the call from the someone who he doesn't know. What do they do is just sending you the message and something like, "Mommy, I have lost my cell phone. I need the money. Send me the money." And you just click that text message, and about $2,000 goes away right away once you click it. So this kind of spam text message is very popular nowadays. After the pandemic, during the pandemic, it became worse. So if I focus on leaking the information, where those people get all the phone number? That is from basically we register through the Zoom and also any of the application we are using. Those information are leaked. So Facebook is a very popular source of leaking the personal information. So that happened about more than 5 times. They got penalty, but still the leaking cannot be prevented unless the blockchain technology become advanced. Once the blockchain technology become advanced, the hackers usually attack center. But the information, personal information, stays in places everywhere. Then even the hackers hack the center, they cannot get all the information because the blockchain technology allows us to have a spread source in several places. If the blockchain succeed in technology matters, then will not be attacked like this much. But so far, Korea is also the places that the hackers usually enjoy attacking. We are attacked a lot. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's a very rich setting data to any system. Yeah, it's very huge risk. And what we can do, like that's the regulation that we have to face, that we have to do for assignment, like Zoom data kind of stuff. Yeah, is a must. There's a big risk, but we have to do it. That's it is what it is. That's how it is. So yeah, it's kind of like jumping to the ocean. You might find a shark, you might find a dolphin. So yeah, we never know.
Right.
And I would like to apologize to call the moderator Miss Devi, is Miss Murthy. I'm sorry, that's my apology. Yeah, thank you. Terima kasih.
Okay.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. So I know the person who never used the text message, never used Facebook, still he gets spam. So only source that the information got leaked is a telecommunication company. But still, yeah, the company somehow, yeah, the leaked. Okay. So here, for simple checking of the daily working hour report, it's recognized in Europe as individual information. The reason is that this information can be used to fire the person. When the person is not at the proper time and supposedly staying outside, there is a case that just check and the person leaves, stay outside and enter and check and go home. So this became the problem, and the company started noticing the more of the information and collecting it. Later, the company had to fire the person, and at that time, this working hour report has been the issue. Okay, here, so since daily working hour is a different from person to person, you can recognize individual by checking who worked at what time and who took a break at what time. So if information can point a person that this is I called it Ayu, but Murthy, right? This is the Murthy, or this is we not know. So someone can point, this is the person. Oh, this we not know usually comes at 8:30 and leaves at 4:30. This is his pattern. And if the person can recognize individual, then the record is personal information. You notice it. We think the personal information is narrow, but in Europe, personal information is a very wide. We talked about the reason they want to protect personal information in wide scope is because EU does not have a company collecting the data. US always happy to collect information. They want more information about everyone in the world. But EU does not have a company collecting information, so they want to protect it. So it's a different interest. EU does not have a company, so they want to protect citizens. Korea has a Samsung telecommunication company and also Naver and Kakao. Those are companies collecting the data. So Korea is happy to have a small protection for the personal information, but EU is happy to have a bigger protection. US and China does not want to protect personal information basically because they want to have more data, but they are still fighting. But later on, they will work together, I'm sure, because they are at the same interest place. Okay, so judgment is that the judgment of the court in 2013 is that here the data equality and criteria for making data processing legitimate and working time accessed by the national authority responsible for monitoring working conditions, employer's obligation to make available the record of working time so as to allow the immediate consultation. So they said it is personal information. Okay, so here is another question I have. If you can answer all these questions, you can be the lawyer in the EU, I think, regarding the data. Okay, question number 5. Okay, data relating to the applicant for residence permit and legal. This is a similar question to the immigration process. Legal analysis contained in the administrative document preparatory to the decision, they ask for full copy of content. So this is also the immigration procedure. They ask the residence permit. That means that they want to stay permanently in that place. And the judgment said, Minister Immigration here said the request for preliminary ruling, and the reference for a preliminary ruling is the protection of individuals with regard to the processing of a personal data is data relating to the applicant for residence permit, and legal analysis is preparatory to the decision, and they don't. Trustworthiness is important. However, it does not mean full disclosure of a legal analysis. So there are two questions here. They answer the same. If there is analysis of the decision-making process involved, it's not personal information. They will not disclosing it. They will not giving it. Okay, so that's the personal information, not disclosing it. So here at this point, I'd like to point out IP address, location information, cookie, DNA information, biological information also is personal information. So do you regularly erase your cookie in the internet?
Yes,
Yeah.
every time we open a website now, we were asked our agreement. We are collecting cookies. Do you agree with that? Every website has it now, I guess.
Yeah. Then even if they collect it, they have to erase it once you ask it. But also, you have your internet setting. You can delete your cookies every day. So having your cookies not stay that way is also information you need. Okay. We are heading to another question. This is you know what this is? Can you guess?
What is
Is that a LED TV?
Yeah, it is
They close
TV.
the camera.
Yeah.
not the LED?
Yeah,
The
the
man
camera.
doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. This man is
Nothing.
auditing, and
yeah.
the person didn't pay tax properly. So this officer went there and saying this property is now belong to the government. This is called the yellow tag. And people don't pay tax properly, they get this procedure. Yeah, this 38 is very popular in Korea. If you don't pay tax, they come out very fast. Okay, so question here is someone didn't pay tax. I like to forget about my bad behavior, black history. Can I ask Google to erase it? That's the question number 6. Right to be forgotten ruling. Here, 2010, Spanish citizen filed a complaint against the Spanish newspaper with the National Data Protection Agency and Google Spain and Google Incorporation all together. So this person asked the Google to erase it. What happened to him is that here, Okay, so he like here, his property has been auctioned because he couldn't pay tax. He lost his property, but later he bought a new house, and then this auction notice, you know, whenever there's auction, government give out auction notice, right? Auction notice is captured by the real property person and then surrounded in the internet. And this citizen is not happy. I didn't have time and the money at that time, but now I have money. So I like to think my friend, to think me as a rich person. I don't want to be considered the person with the auctioned property all the time. So he asked Google to erase this auction notice of his repossessed home. This was the auction notice 5 years back. And
Nanti mau pergi aku.
Kemana?
Main.
Okay, so the Google search result infringed his. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think okay. Yeah. Ruling here is that even if the physical server of a company processing data is located in outside of Europe, so many of the companies usually make an excuse that our server is in Solomon Island. I don't have a server. I cannot give you the evidence. Even KakaoTalk, even Monset, we don't have evidence. We like to give it to you, but server is at Solomon Island in different country. So EU said EU rules apply to search engine operator if they have a branch or subsidiary in a member state. So Indonesia has a Google company in Indonesia, right? Yeah. Of course, they have a company subsidiary in Indonesia. That means that any information you think is not proper, you can access to the Indonesia Google to erase it. So this is a very popular term. Here it says, right to be forgotten. Even if you have a Black history, let me have a better life here. I don't want the Google to know my my past or history. Okay, so search engines are control over personal data, so Google can therefore not escape its responsibility before you don't know. Individuals have a right under certain conditions. So if the information is, so there are the conditions: inaccurate, inadequate, irrelevant, excessive, then the individual can ask to erase it. If the information is accurate, adequate, relevant, not excessive, then you will lose the case. But otherwise, you can ask them to erase it. Here it says the right to be forgotten is not absolute, but will always need to be balanced against other fundamental rights, such as the freedom of expression and the media. So in the final wording is that the case-by-case assessment is needed, but still EU like to protect more of the privacy rather than giving data. Data is important, but still for EU, privacy is more important. Okay, so these are all information. In real life, you have an option of opt-in and opt-out, right? Now you can check your cell phone. There are systems you have to press it to get the consent. That means explicit consent. Opt-out means you have to be automatically giving consent. Otherwise, you have to opt out, right? So this opt-in, opt-out choice should be given. Opt-in should not be ticked by default. So you cannot have data protection by default. That means that you will, let me see, I can see you here. You will only have information about the processing over your data, and also the right to object and access all the data keeps you away, and right to be informed if your data has leaked. So likewise, you asked the question that is there any incident in Korea whether the leaking has been done, right? Leak incident has been done. So what we do is we do have a company called Dutch Tap, and we register the number that you do get the spam. Once you register this number as a spam, then this company make a list of the numbers, telephone numbers, saying this is some strange telephone, do not pick up this telephone number. So this is the ones that you the company trying to protect the information. Okay, so even in the EU, the most complaints are telemarketing, promotional email, and CCTV. So how's the CCTV running in Indonesia?
CCTV is now used to the traffic.
Only? You think?
Yeah, the traffic at the mall and then at the school. Earlier, I watched a video about CCTV that has been integrated with AI, so that from the CCTV we could know who's that person and where he lives, where she lives, or something like that. It's kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, tomorrow at the beginning, I'm going to share a little bit of a movie that that shows how many CCTVs in Korea, and they know all about you.
Oh,
They're
watching you then.
Yeah. So EU is NGOs in EU is handing out the flyers saying that this car is collecting information about the face. They scan the face, so they make a scanning model of the
face recognition AI.
Yeah. So once they scan you once, they don't need information about you second time. Once you scanned it, information is gone. And maybe you get older, they might need it. I might have a different view face later on, like old mama. But not for maybe 10 years time, will be very similar, right? Moderator, I have a question. Do you have like a question and answer time for the?
Yeah, I guess after this we have a Q&A session, or maybe we can do it.
Okay.
You can finish your lecture first.
Yeah, but yeah. So if there is a case, the Q&A session, then maybe one more question. Yeah, this one I can share and talk about the company interest and the state interest later on. Yeah. Okay. I will since I only have 20 minutes. If there is a question, then I will get the question first. If there is no question, then I will go on.
Okay, looks
Yeah.
like we got a question from maybe Mbak Agustin dulu ya Putri. Dari tadi sudah raise hand. Silakan Mbak Agustin, sudah saya unmute. Apakah bisa?
Oh, you speak in Korean?
No. I don't speak Korean.
She said 괜찮아. Means it's okay.
괜찮아.
괜찮아. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Park. Hello, Prof. Park.
Thank you.
Sorry, can you open your camera? Or maybe there is some technical difficulties?
Nope.
It can, it's okay. Just go on.
No.
Okay.
I was in my office, so I want to ask you something about the GDPR. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's say if I'm sometime in the future, I wanted to delete my Facebook account, and then can I demand that my WhatsApp account is linked and will also deleted because it's GDPR, it allow for selective removal of personal accounts from different service provided by the same company.
Yeah.
And then link to Mr. Wirnarno said, is it true in Indonesia that the data privacy is very helpful, but data breach is really high or common? But mostly Indonesia doesn't really care and know something like VPN. Do you hear VPN? Nah, is it really help the VPN thing? Thank you.
There must be a lecturer who is teaching similar contents, I think. Okay, since the WhatsApp is the part of the Facebook company, then you can surely ask your information. But once you are out, they will not be cooperative. So while you are having the account, then you might ask it, right? So GDPR, but the biggest power you can have is concern of the individual. If citizen is angry when that incident is happened, then government will be interested in protecting it. When the information has leaked and citizen does not care, then government does not have to pay attention to those incidents. So when you are angry at the leaking of the information, you have to show and gather together. And there is a system in Korea. It is a petition system. So we directly petition to Blue House, which is the top government, and the presidential house is called the Blue House. And we directly petition to the government, and anybody can do, any citizen can do. We petition them, and then people just put two things: agree, not agree. So if there are more than 10,000 people agree on this petition, government has to investigate that incident. So if you are concerned about the leaking of the information, then you petition to investigate that incident. Then the government has to send people to investigate matter no matter what. That's it's a system that Constitution gives us the power. That's why the citizen has a power here. Citizen is the most important factor in the country.
Okay, maybe we go on to the next question. We got Miss Putri. As long as I know, she loves Korean culture. So maybe she can
Yeah, I
talk
see.
Korean a bit.
Is it Jungkook on the back? Who's the person on the back?
Oh yeah, you can see from her background. Who's that?
I'm sitting. 지수. 네, 안녕하세요, 프로페서.
안녕하세요.
저는 부치입니다.
Yeah.
I want to ask something. Maybe my English is not good, and please, Miss Ayu, can help me maybe.
Sure.
I want to ask about the system. Indonesia, when the pandemic, all system is online. We need to enter the my personal ID for all system in Indonesia. But when we want to registration on the hospital or anything, we need to enter the ID as again and again. How about in Korea? The identity when we want to registration is only one, or we need to enter again and again.
Once you are in, you don't have to do it. Maybe I'd like to show my cell phone. This is the my personal barcode. This is my QR code. So automatically, everywhere I go, I just use this. This is my personal code, and government knows where I am, and I don't have to give it to them over again. This is also there's a vaccine QR code. Once I need to get 2 vaccinations. First time I got, and I click it and it shows I just had 1 shot. And if you have a second shot, it's the final shot, then you can go anywhere, but still wearing the mask. You are not going to be counted as the limitation of the gathering limit. So that's the good thing. But for the entering any premises, checking once is enough. But for stores, like in a department store, I go Shinsegae store, which is like a 7-store department store. Then I have to check the lunch place and skating place. I have to check one by one.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you. I hope you see the person later in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Agustin? I saw you raise your hand just now.
Any question is fine. Even I miss Jokja. I miss going Jokja. I can meet you in Jokja later on, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other question? We still got a few minutes before we end our meeting.
For generally, you worry about the leaking of the personal information, but thing is, the CCTV is not popular in Jogja yet, right? And Jogja is a special city. You have a special government.
Yes.
Right? Different from other government, and you have autonomy governed by the government, and you can set up like a different set of rules in Jogja. Yeah.
We got monarchy as governor, so they are not elected by citizens.
Right. Yeah, it's like coming down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Saudara Ditya, apakah mau bertanya? If you going to ask, maybe ya. Oh, Ditya. Saya kira perempuan. Silakan. Can you unmute yourself? Yep. Go on with your question.
Yes, short question. How the Korean government handle or prevent criminal acts in case of misuse of personal information if the crime is committed from another country? Maybe each country has its own way to handling. How the Korean government? Thank you.
So the crime committed abroad, the criminal information about that criminal will be revealed in Korea. If that is question, because it has a mix of information. There was an incident that the person killed someone in Korea, and then prosecutor had afraid the person might run away, and this person can commit another similar crimes. Then we open the face. We reveal through the news channel. We reveal where the person lives, how tall is the person, what the face looks like, and also the where the crime has been committed, and also the person has to, after some procedure, the person has to wear the electronic the device at the ankle. So this is how they handle the criminals, but there is a pro and cons about having the criminal information leaked. No, your question is correct. When we consider even the person who committed the murder before, we don't know who that person is. The person will come out. But now the sexual offense crime is more stricter than before. So anybody who committed the sexual crime, we get the information through the mail system. If I move to another place and there is a person, a sexual offender nearby, and I get mail, and this is the address this person lives. So stay away and stay away and be careful. So if you have one person in your neighbor, you get one person information. If you have a two person, then obviously you get all the information. So where they live, every resident knows. So we can protect ourselves. And their face always updated. But I don't want to watch them though.
Okay, Professor, maybe last questions. We got limited time over it. Maybe Winarno lagi. Yang lainnya unraised hand soalnya.
Okay, thank you.
Do you still okay?
Yeah, okay.
Go on.
I'm still here, 100%
Yeah.
here. Thank you, Ms.
still.
Murthy. I would like to ask to Professor Park Ji-sun about system face recognition. And I heard in Korea there is kind of trends that people change their appearance, like plastic surgery. So how does the government react to that? Because when on that trend, people would like to, you know, have appearance like one artist, and there will be, when it's a trend, it's gonna be like there will be another face look like him, look like her. So so how the government react to that? So is there any like you know, like a problem having the same face on the system face recognition in the data. I'm curious about it. And all about the CCTV in Yogyakarta, we are the citizen in Yogyakarta have an access when we have to download like a GSS, a Jogja Smart Service. So we can go to there and we can have an access to the CCTV in every single traffic light in Yogyakarta. So you can go there and you can see it lively. So before you go out, you can just check them where you want to go. Then you will see like, is there any traffic jam or no, or what situation? You can just go there.
Oh,
that's
much
the best thing in Jogja. It's only happening in Jogja, that apps, and I'm pretty happy with that. So it helped me to scheduling things sometimes. And yeah, back to my question, please. How the government in Korea reacts to the same similarity plastic surgery trends?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's gonna be my last question, I think, and I'm pretty happy that you would answer. Thank you. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Next time I visit Jogja, I definitely like to visit the university and also use the system CCTV in Jogja.
Yeah, I'm just checking, like on my phone, so I'm just randomly anytime.
Right, very great. For similarity in face, do you think my face had any surgery?
I guess not.
It's a question that something like you look good or you are good looking means that something your intention inside of the language is I think you have done something on your face. But when you someone talk to you like, oh, you look natural, means that you have not done anything. Here in Korea, if you go Gangnam, you will see so many girls having similar face. And there is a funny joke. They say, I have a second father. Who that is? Plastic surgeon. Is a second father. And the person, the girls go to the surgery and they say, oh father, make me beautiful. So the government is not really blocking the market because this is a big market. Also, this is a part of freedom of expression. So even as a 10-year-old birthday gift, father give the girl or the son the plastic surgery on the eyes. This is a 10-year, and this is a 20-year gift, and this can be the 30 years gift. So many of the surgery, the age became lower. Before, many of the girls and even the boys had a surgery after 20, but nowadays they have a surgery at 10. Because they want to have a bigger eyes, they need the surgery on the eyes. That's the 10 years or the birthday gift, I heard. It's kind of trendy here in Korea. And if you have money and if you have then it's kind of a trend that people have that much of the surgery. But people are not against having the person who had the surgery. But thing is that the person has to take the risk of themselves. There are incidences that the people get died during the surgery because of the too much medicine or the side effect. So if one person taking the risk themselves, likewise in data protection, if one person is taking risk of giving information to the person, government is not 100% blocking that one. We are willing to give our information to the company in return of the application use. So we are exchanging it. So government is not seeing it as over the limit of the constitution given by the government. So within the frame of government, the surgery is allowed. Also, maybe stealing data is not allowed, but taking the data is allowed in exchange of something, right? In exchange of service. In exchange of service of surgery, we are allowed to take a risk. Okay.
Okay. That will be the last question. Dari pertanyaan tadi berarti berakhirlah sesi. It will be the last question for this lecture, ma'am, I guess.
Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
maybe yeah. Thank you for your lecture and your insights. We got some new insights from Korea. So maybe we can enact that. We can enact some of that to Indonesian government sometimes later.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you. And then terima kasih kepada maybe for the last session we've got to take picture.
I see.
Yeah, we got to Yang terakhir akan ada sesi foto bersama. Silakan untuk membuka kamera. Apa mungkin saya bisa dibantu ya Mbak Putri? Mbak Putri, apakah masih di sana?
We like to do this. Yay!
Yeah, strike your best poses. We've got to take your picture now. In 3, 2, 1. Please hold up a bit. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
감사합니다.
사랑합니다. 사랑합니다. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
네.
We've got another session with Professor Ji-hyun for 2 days. For tomorrow and the day after, with different lecture. I see.
Okay.
So see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yay.
감사합니다. 네.